Well, it seems as if we've got a theme going here of celebrity interviewers, and one of our favorites is Glenn Plaskin, who has written so many different things about so many different celebrities. And in fact, if you pick up this month's edition, this month's copy of Family Circle, and look inside, there's a wonderful kind of a profile of Katharine Hepburn, and you've been interviewing Lionel Richie and Mrs. Reagan and Angela Lansbury, and we'll show all those pictures a little bit later. But what was Katharine Hepburn like? I know that you have been friends for a while, but it took a while to convince her to do an interview with you.
Well, you know, I met her first when I sent her the book I'd written about Horowitz, and she called me up on the phone one day, and she said, "Is this Mr. Plaskin?" I said, "Yes," and she said, "Would you like to come for tea?" So I went for tea. She came in the room, and I was scared to death. There she is, you know, and she came right up to me like this, and she said, "Oh, my God, I thought you'd be 50. Because the book's 600 pages, she thought it would be...
In keeping with the length of the book, sure, your age.
And then she said to the maid, "Nora, this is Mr. Plaskin. He's 10 years old. Give him a cookie." So she was funny.
Has she changed since that time?
No,
Does she still treat you as if you were 10?
You know, it was funny. I finished the article, and I said, "Oh, this is finished, thank God." Then the magazine, which you know publishes recipes, called me up, and they said, "Would you call her up on the phone and get a recipe?" I said, "Oh, I can't do that." I bothered her enough. So I did it in one breath. "Hello, Miss Hepburn, this is Glenn Plaskin. I hate to bother you, but we need a recipe." And she said to me, "My maid is upstairs painting my bedroom, and my secretary is writing letters I hope I'll have the strength to sign. And you want a recipe?" I said, "Uh-huh." So she said, "Phyllis, get on the phone." And Phyllis is the secretary. "Mr. Plaskin wants to know how to make a chicken." She slammed the phone down.
Oh.
She actually wasn't mad.
She wasn't? She was just doing that to you?
In fact, she picked up the phone a few minutes later and said, "Give him Mrs. Tracy's stuffing recipe."
Ah, so that it wasn't so bad.
Yeah,
what little insights did you gain into her? Because she's probably the greatest living American actress today.
Well, you know, she says in the interview that she never gets depressed and she never gets lonely. But my impression of her, just sort of heart to heart, is that she is lonely.
How did you get
Not
that?
for lack of activity or lack of attention, but it's just something. Once before we did the interview, we were sitting there toward the end of the afternoon, and we were talking. I don't know how to say it, but I just got the feeling she was lonely because at the end of the afternoon, she almost looked like she didn't want me to go. There was that sort of tug, you know.
Does she have family? I mean, who are her friends? Who does she rely on?
She has friends, and she has brothers and sisters, so I don't think she's really lonely, but there's this sense that she's, you know, as you get older, it's not always great.
Well, you also were with Lionel Richie the day after he got the Academy Award. In fact, in the picture we have, it almost looks like you got the Academy Award, Glenn.
Yeah, I'm cooler now that I've been out there. That was fun.
Now, what was this the profile for?
This is for the Christmas issue of Playboy.
Ah.
It's the interview, and I liked him a lot. He is so nice. And one of the few stars that doesn't act like a star. I mean, he really is. It's very boring to say nice, but he really is. But he's not boring either. And he was very forthcoming about his struggle. You were just talking about David Bowie with sex. He was married during the 10 years he became a superstar. And he said women are constantly assaulting him. They used to say, "Would you like to see me after the show?" And he'd say, "I'm married." They'd say, "Okay." Now he says, "I'm married," and they ask, "Is she in town?"
Oh, no. Well, you know, you don't think about that, but that certainly is something that's all part of that kind of rock phenomenon.
Oh, we all think about it. But he's just lucky enough to have them rory themselves.
Shame on you, Glenn. Now, switching gears here, you went back to the White House and were with Mrs. Reagan again. You weren't very, well, at least Katharine Hepburn wasn't very complimentary of Mrs. Reagan. The last time you spoke with her, she's not one of Katharine Hepburn's favorite people. Was she nice to you this time?
She was I think she's a very nice person.
There you are, the little dog was even in on the interview.
Yeah, that dog was cute. You know, they told me when I got there you'd have 20 minutes for the interview. So the first thing I said to her when she came in the room is, "I'm so glad we have 2 full hours." And she looked a little pale. But she's, because nice as she is, if you had her on your show, you'd be sorely disappointed. I mean, she is not a good interview. My questions in the transcript as I was reading it are like 2 paragraphs long, and her answers are 2 words long. I mean, you know, It's very difficult.
For you as an interviewer, though, that is difficult because didn't you have the same kind of experience with William Paley from CBS that you had to go, he wouldn't give you anything. You had to go and fill in all those blanks with other people.
Yeah, when you interview somebody, as you know, and then they don't deliver the goods, I think it's harder on television because, you know, you're stuck. But when you're writing an article, you can always go back and, and write it, yeah. So being prepared, I had been to the White House once before, so being prepared for that fact, I didn't leave this time feeling like I wanted to shoot myself, which I did last time.
What was Angela Lansbury like? You did a piece on her, too. Now, is that going to be in Family Circle?
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, her power-packed brown bread wouldn't rise because every recipe that the celebrities give us, we take up to the test kitchens. And this thing sunk, it wouldn't rise. So I can't speak for her bread, but as a person, she's extremely nice. And she told me something, no limousines, no maids, no cooks. She goes home after 12 or 14 hours on the set of Murder, She Wrote, and she actually makes dinner.
She's got a new commercial. She uses MasterCharge, too. I've seen a new commercial, yeah.
You know, Glenn, you are doing so many different interviews with so many celebrities now. It seems like a far cry from the classical training that you had and doing the biography of Horowitz. What do you think of all these celebrities? I mean, do you find any common denominator among them?
They're all very rich, much richer than me, and it's beginning to irritate me. Yes. You go into these people's homes, you've never seen such bathrooms. First thing I do is say, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I go right in and look at those bathrooms. Lionel Richie had those towels with the L.R. gold leaf, you know. I used 2 of them.
Yeah.
And nice solid gold toilet paper holders. These are the things that really make your life worth something.
Is it intimidating? It doesn't sound like it is anymore, but what it had to be in the beginning to walk into their turf and deal with that kind of decadence.
No, it's intimidating. My hands are cold right now talking to you. It's intimidating.
But how do you get over that?
You don't get, who said you get over it? You just...
That's why he goes to the bathroom.
You just go right in there.
All right, well, wait a second. Now that we're on this topic, who had the nicest bathroom that you've interviewed?
The nicest bathroom, it's a tie between Joan Rivers and Lionel Richie. I could spend the whole day in their bathroom.
Really?
Yeah.
What's different about them besides the solid gold toilet holder?
I mean, they're just beautiful. There's something so fresh about them. You wouldn't want to go.
You could do a whole series. This could be a whole new set
Celebrity
of
bathrooms.
Celebrity bathrooms.
Yeah.
They're doing everything else. Why not that?
All right. Now, you have signed an exclusive deal, I guess, with Family Circle now. You're going to be, who are some of the people that are coming up that you're going to be interviewing?
Well, we're doing Barbara Walters, Elizabeth Taylor, Sally Field, Bill Cosby, and I can't remember the rest. But, you know, it is fun to get to go to meet people who you do admire and who do good work, and then you get to go see them. For instance, I did Cagney and Lacey recently.
That's right. We have a picture, I think, of Sharon Glass, yeah.
And I liked Sharon very much. And there's a woman who isn't married, and she said to me, am I really famous? She's on that set like 16 hours a day sometimes, and she had no sense of the fact how successful
You got to
she
tell
was.
the story, though. You went to lunch with Peter Jennings. What was it, this past week?
He wants to meet you.
Does he? Good.
Tell your
Let's make the day.
husband he better watch out.
But 2 little girls. What? Tell the story. You're sitting there for lunch.
2 little girls came up to the table with their little, no more than 7 years old. And in New York City, of course, they have their little shoulder bags, probably credit cards in there too. And they said to him, oh, could we have your autograph? We see you every day on The Young and the Restless. And he said, I'm not on The Young and the Restless, and they ran away. They said, we don't want it.
So, I guess, how fleeting is fame?
Yeah,
Fame
really.
is not much.
Glenn, it's a delight to see you again.
Nice to see you, too.
Okay, we'll have
Nice
you
to see
back
you,
after
too.
you've interviewed some more celebrities.
Thanks.
Check out the bathrooms.
Bye.
All right, we'll be back.